What up, stranger?
Hey,
How do I know
how's it
you?
going? Um, I don't know. I don't think we've ever met in a networking tribe talk. I'm obviously part of the tribe. I had emailed you and oh God, what's it, Emily? I got really sick. I was supposed to go to Vegas and had like a VIP ticket and all that, and I got really sick, and so did most of my family, and I couldn't go. So I emailed you and Emily trying to give away my ticket, which I ended up doing. So. I don't know. Other than
Nice.
that, that's it.
Well, actually, yeah. Well, actually, sometimes I give this link out to a lot of people. So sometimes it's tribe members, and sometimes it just comes from Instagram.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. Um. Well, how can I be useful to you today?
I just saw this and I'm like, I'm gonna jump on and talk to Alex and hopefully make a new friend and meet somebody new and do something different and probably put myself out of my comfort zone a little bit doing this.
Dude, I
But
love that. I've been doing this for like 5 years. I don't get anything out of it. Like, sorry, I don't have any agenda for it. Like, I don't have anything I need to get out of it. I think there's this weird thing in the world where everybody's isolated, even though they're connected to everybody. Hey, here's the whole internet. Why don't you just fucking feel alone now?
right,
um,
exactly.
and so I'm like, we also live. If you talk about like, politics or religion, it's all very divisive these days. So everybody, it's like this idea. I thought to myself, I'm like, man, talking to strangers is just. I mean, it's mostly real estate, but talking to strangers is just. I don't know. Feels more needed now than before.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. It's it's pretty amazing to look at how the world has changed in such a short amount of time when you talk about like social media and the internet and all those things like that. And you're right. It's incredible to watch people struggle with communication and stuff like that. Some people really excel with it, but it's such a different world nowadays. Um,
Yeah,
it's funny. I met my wife online back when like online dating was like that taboo, like, oh, you're on Match? Like, oh, I feel so
yeah.
bad for you. Like, right? And now it's
It
like
was
that's the
taboo.
only way you meet people.
Yeah, it was taboo for a while.
So it's really interesting. It's really interesting. No, I mean, for me, I'm part of my journey this year is to put myself in situations where I'm doing more networking and meeting more people and putting myself out there. Um, so I work in retail. I've worked in retail all my adult life, um, and I'm really good at it. I've done a lot of different things. But as I got into different areas of retail where I'm not in the stores anymore. I work for headquarters at a pretty large company, and so as I do that, I noticed that it was really easy to be an extrovert around the people I worked around and doing all that, and it wasn't as easy with like not having necessarily all those common shared things that you go through in retail, right? And so I noticed that was a struggle. Like my wife and I moved to a new area, and it was like almost felt I'm like, why is it so hard to make friends? Why do I not have a group of friends like as fast or as quick as I did where previously, those types of things. And it's just I looked at that and I'm like, it's just different sometimes, and so I need to get past that. Um,
Well, it's also harder when you hit like when people start having. Do you have kids?
yeah, I have 3 kids.
Yeah. Oh my God, I have no kids.
Yeah, we've
Um,
got a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 10-month-old. So
yeah, there's definitely this age. I think Miss Kate and I talk about it all the time. I said when we hit like 50 and 55 and all our friends' kids are like grown up and out of the house, we're gonna be the most popular people again. Because then people are like, we want friends again. I'm like, yo, we're good at it. We've been doing it for decades.
yeah.
But I think definitely there's this point when you're between like maybe 30 and I mean, we expect it to be about 55 where, dude, everybody's got kids. And if you have a job and kids, that's that's the majority of your time. And so it's hard to like invest emotionally into people that are not your direct family, I think. At least that's our experience. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. It's just
and
the,
then
the invested time, everything. It's a little bit of
yeah,
everything, it feels.
and then like I look at my brother and my brother's, he's a homebody. He stays at home with his with his family, and then his hobby, his like interest is working on the house. So he's always like building, is in his wood shop. So he doesn't leave. So if you want to share woodworking with him, he doesn't have a way for you to do it together. So I think having interests that involve other people is really important, and I'm not the best at it, but cameras, travel. Um, I still like doing the guys' night at the bar, drinking. Like that's really fun for me. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I like really like business. I really like business because it's all team effort. But yeah, I don't know. Where do you live?
Iowa, Eastern Iowa. We're right by the University of Iowa, actually.
I got a buddy. One of my close friends is in Des Moines.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So about 2 hours east of Des Moines, right outside
Yeah.
Iowa City. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm gonna be up there this year, actually.
Nice. For
Yeah.
what?
Uh, so we did real estate together, and then real estate margins got small, and he's like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go do something else, and he buys a brewery, third largest brewery in Iowa, and then turns it around, bought it for pennies on the dollar, turned it around, he makes money. He's like, this is fun, and then he gets into and he buys a Marco's Pizza, and then he buys two Marco's pizzas, and then he buys a Dairy Queen, and now he's like, I'm gonna buy 100 of these across the country. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to sell to private equity. And so I've been kind of working with him on that very lightly. I'm not included in any deals yet. There's nothing to share yet, but that's what we've been tinkering with. And yeah, I've never been to Iowa, so I'm gonna go see him, see the properties, see the businesses, see if I can
Nice.
help. Also, I've never been hunting, and I got a buddy up there who does white-tailed deer bow hunting, and that is just, bro, I want to go do that so bad.
No, no, you take down a deer with a bow. I mean, that's it, man. I mean, just hear
That's
me
peak
roar,
manhood.
right? Like that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know that you're self-sustainable no matter what happens in the world at that point.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm gonna go, yeah, experience the cycle of life, let's say.
that's yeah, that's really cool. I love living here. I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I've been in Iowa to be 10 years this December.
I
So
love Milwaukee. I've been there.
mm, nice.
I love
Yes.
it.
Is
What
it?
a quaint little town.
Yes. Yes. It's a lot of fun. A lot of different things. It's different living in Iowa. Um, but I still got all my family lives in Milwaukee, so I love going to visit them, and we go and catch sporting events and all that fun stuff up there, and go by the. I mean, I grew up a mile away from the lake, so we would go out to the lake and all that fun stuff, go fishing, just out in the boat, whatever. So it was a lot of fun. But
Nice. Well, dude, how can I be useful to you? Like what I know you just wanted to like chat, but like I don't know, what problems you got in your business?
um, for me, I think like I'm working on a couple different things. So I got a W-2 job. I've got a real small real estate portfolio right now. I've got five single family houses that I'm working on growing. And I'm ramping up my marketing there, doing off-market deals. Like you said, real estate margins right now are a little bit tougher than they were or last decade. But um, I think for me, like the thing I'm working on is, and I think it was actually Brandon that put it out, or I read something, or maybe it was on the trip somewhere. Are you more of a learner or are you a doer?
Mm-hmm.
And I like that kind of caught me off guard, a little bit when I thought about that. I love to read. I love to learn new things. I love to like kind of initiate those things, and tinker with my life a little bit and how can I get better? And I was like, God, I learn a lot of crap and I don't execute on it, which is funny because in retail, majority of my job is just pure execution.
Sure.
But I don't, that doesn't translate as necessarily to my life. So one of the things I'm really passionate about is financial literacy, especially with young kids. Grew up in a very blue collar area, and I'm pushing towards how do I provide maybe content? How do I how do I get more involved in that? I'm already involved with a small nonprofit in Iowa where I give financial literacy courses, um, once to twice a month for just people who sign up in the local community that are looking to just learn about money and understand how to be better with their money. And I'm trying to figure out how to expand on that. And then eventually, like, what does that look like? Can it be a business? And that's probably really far down the road. Um, but I'm really moving with that. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't have like a perfect answer, right? Like you can do this to help me, or you can do that. Like it just, I'm kind of in those stages. Honestly, I wanted to do something new. I know networking is part of my like. I need to do that more because I will run into people that will help me with my really jumbled vision right now as I go on. Um,
Well, there's already people that are doing what you probably want to do, and so I know a few. I know two people. I don't know if his is military only. My buddy Adam Whitney, he does kids financial education, but I don't know what it's called. But he's doing it. I don't know if it's for military only because he's a military guy,
okay.
but yeah, he's somebody to look up.
Okay. Adam Whitney, you said?
Adam Whitney, yep. Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneurs podcast. He's seven-figure flipping, board of directors, blackjack. He's a overachiever.
Huh.
He is an overachiever for sure.
Oh. Yeah, and I know Brandon just had him on the podcast. Scott Donnelly is doing a lot of different things with Gravy Stack. It's been looking at we actually started up with one of my kids on that already.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different resources, but yeah, I mean, if you just, I don't know, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, just like find somebody who's already doing it and see how you can either be included to start, something like that. Yeah,
Makes sense. Awesome.
yeah. I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't have kids. That's not a passion project of mine. I don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, I guess, a little pet peeve about people who say like, you know, just do more, don't learn more.
Yeah.
I
There's like a balance, right? Like,
um I don't think of them as opposites. I don't think of them as one or the other. So for me, I spend a lot of time reading philosophy, a lot, and it is both it is both intrinsically rewarding and extrinsically useful to me. But I can't act so much on how the Russian Revolution correlates to the current American political situation. But I find it useful and I enjoy it, and that's built into me. And so, like, this idea that, like, well, it's not, I'm just learning, I'm not doing anything with it. I'm like, I don't care at all. And I think there's a lot of, it's just an entrepreneur. That's a very common entrepreneur pitch because they're the opposite way. They're like, we don't care about the Russian Revolution. We just care about doing stuff. And so I'm like,
right.
that's fine, but that doesn't make it right for everybody. So I just try to say like, I don't know what's right for you, but don't think that what's somebody else says is just like it's not gospel.
Yeah, that's a good
There's
call.
lots there's lots of people that are in academia. Not that I love academia, but like, there's lots of people that, think and write and,
Hmm.
for a living. And we we people we cherish and people that have informed the way our society works. Um, because you could take that argument, it's like, well, then why even think about politics? Why not just go to war?
Yeah, that's very valid.
Why are we arguing about it? Why are we talking about it? Why are we thinking
Yeah,
about it? Why are we researching? Just go shoot something.
yeah. Just punch each
Um,
other in the face and call it a day.
yeah. Why have a an informed democracy? Just vote today, and then just vote tomorrow. We'll just vote every day.
Right.
Don't think about it. So I mean, those are extremes, but that's my point. Is to like this idea that like, um, researcher. There are people who are professional researchers. There are think
Yeah.
tanks. Like this is so that's the entrepreneur way. And so what I and I'm not an entrepreneur personally, not really. I'm more of an artist and investor. But I don't know what you are, so maybe you're an entrepreneur and maybe you just need to do more. Maybe you're being a shitty entrepreneur. It might be the case. It might be the case. I don't know you. It also might not be the case. So it's like, you got to understand like who that advice is for, who it's coming from and who you are.
Right. Yeah. That's a really good point. I think it's a little bit of a mix of both. I think I could do more. I think, I've been balancing, trying to balance, like we talked earlier, trying to balance the seasons of life too, right? Like, I have a 10-month-old. The first 6 months, I mean, I basically slept maybe an hour at a time, right? Like, if I was lucky. Like, so some of those things, like, it's one of those things where I'm working on balancing, and I feel like I'm getting back more in a rhythm now where I'm working on balancing those seasons and, like, understanding, like, there are certain times in my life where my family needs me more than
Of
normal.
course,
And that
dude.
was one of those times, absolutely, right? And there are other times where I'm like, I really want to grow. I really want to do this. This passion is just eating at me and I wanna get after it.
Dude, well, the internet's a mind fuck. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm in this real estate entrepreneur world, and I had my little 15 minutes of fame. I was on Bigger Pockets, I was going to conferences, I was getting popular, I was growing a little newsletter, and it was growing. And then I kind of in 2021, I kind of stopped it all, and I said I'm going to go all in on this. And for all like entrepreneurial, by all entrepreneurial metrics, like that was a terrible idea. This does not build a business. This does not buy me any real estate. But man, I couldn't help it. Didn't want to help it. And
Mm.
so if I asked somebody else, if I asked some entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur what to do, they would have been like, this is a fucking waste of time. This is stupid. But they don't know who I am. So what do they
Yeah,
know? So it was one of those things where I'm like, I have to, I, I can't put this thing down. I have to deal with it. So, you know, the internet will give you all these like comparison pains that are undue and largely fraudulent because somebody can get on the internet and say all sorts of things and you might think that they're somewhat they some you might whatever you think about them might not be what they are. So
right. Yeah, an
don't let
accurate
it eat at
portrayal.
you. Well, it's just some small bit of a person and then you're like, oh, I got to go do what they say, and it's like, yeah, you don't. They don't know you. They're not talking to you. They're just saying things. So
Right.
um yeah. So I don't know, like you said, families family gets is most important most times. And like, the other thing you said to me, you said, I want to go do child's financial literacy. And I'm like, ain't no money in that. I'm letting you know right now.
Yeah.
Very little. Um, because kids don't have any money. But if you want to do it, like it's an admirable goal. I wouldn't say there's no money in it. It's not like huge money in it. So it's just I guess my point
Right.
is like, but that's what you want to do. So if you listen to somebody else who is just like, that's not going to make you any money, don't do it. You're following somebody else's thing.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Anyway, I'm just trying to be useful. Sorry.
No, you are. No, it's yeah. It helps you think for. It's good to get different perspectives, right? And like
Yeah.
understand different things, and again, that's part of my goal this year is to like put myself in situations to talk to more people, um, and get different perspectives. It just helps you think through what you're thinking through, right? You're always going to default to what you're thinking through. The
Well, you said you're
interesting
an
thing is
extrovert.
how many people told you about how many did anybody tell you not to do the camera before you did it? Like the photography, all that stuff? I'm sure multiple, maybe not.
I don't generally ask people.
Okay,
I
fair
generally,
enough.
yeah. Again, I knew that it was. They didn't have to say it explicitly, but like I knew that it was, it was not going to be the path that other people were going to take. They were going to be like, that's not going to get you. That's not going to get you any real estate. It also got me to like, I went to Iceland with my camera. I went to
Mhm.
Guatemala. I went to Colombia, and so you know, and a dozen other countries. So they might not value that, but I really value it. So like asking other people, you just get to a point where the more extreme you go, the more you realize that the other person has no effing clue what's right for you. So I generally don't. I try not to ask people, but I do probably. You and I think share this because you're an extrovert, and it sounds like maybe what I do is I have to talk things out loud to people, not for advice, but just to get it out of my head. And like, how does that sound to you? I just read in their face. They're like, okay, whatever. Yeah, okay. You just reading their emotions. So in that way, it's like, dude, just talking to more people, getting those perspectives, and just like talking things out. It's just so helpful because I don't know. If it's stuck in your head, it's almost useless.
Right. Well, you just bounce around on it over and over and over again.
A
You just
hundred percent.
triple guess, quadruple
And then
guess, 1,000
it's
times
it's
guess yourself.
it's all these pros and all these cons, and then you're paralyzed.
Like a huge list of guess.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I
Oh,
could talk myself into this or out of this.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't
How'd you
do
know
anything
when
because
to
you're like,
start- How'd you know when to pull the trigger?
um. So that's a good question. In 2022, excuse me, 2020, I bought like a 52 unit building. I was doing good. I was like, my career trajectory was really going like this. And then
Mm-hmm.
in 2021, we closed like early in that year on a big deal, and I was looking at deals, and what had happened was the the margins, the cap rates had all compressed because rates were so low for so many years. So the cap rates were compressed. Well, in that point, the COVID inflation had come, so now the rates were all high. So the rates were high, the prices were high, the rates were low, the margins were low, the rates were low, and the rents were high. There's no margin. There's no bone, or there's no meat left on any bone. So I'm like, I'm looking at these deals, I'm underwriting deals and underwriting deals and underwriting deals. I'm like, this is a five cap at a low rate on a C class property. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to
Right.
go with this. The rents can't go up. It's 99% occupied. The rents aren't going to go up. I didn't want to just like, I was like, the rates are most likely going to go up. I was making videos about it. I'm like, the rates are most likely going to go up. So if the rates go up, this whole thing comes crashing down. So I was like, well, now seems like a good time to travel the world with my camera. I was just underwriting deals and not making money and underwriting deals and not making money and underwriting deals and not buying deals. And I was like, let's just go do this. And then I did that for basically a full year. And then Brandon was like, hey, do you want to move to Maui and build me a video podcast? And I'm like, okay, I suppose.
I can
Um,
do that.
I suppose, yeah. So, and I still traveled quite a bit last year. I still went to Colombia and Portugal and Spain. So, I mean,
It's not
it's not as
bad.
much money. It's not bad. But again, if you ask an entrepreneur, right, it's a really bad entrepreneurial path. I bought hardly any real estate,
Yeah.
right? I'm a W-2
Yeah.
employee. So like I gave up a lot of that. If I asked an entrepreneur what to do, he would have said, this is stupid. This is the worst thing you could do. This is just an employment. And I'm like, I don't know. I traveled all across the United States. I got to do this wild thing. I lived in Maui for a year, still went out of the country, and I got to do my camera full time. Like, what an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
So, this is why you have to like, it's good to ask people. It's good to, I'll give you some perspective. Here's what I do. This is like 80% theatrical, 20% dead ass serious. But there's something here. I basically, when I want to know what to do, I ask everybody in my circle what I should do, and then I tally up all of the consensus, and I do the opposite because I assume everybody is an idiot except me, and I would never do what an idiot does. So that's how I run things.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you ask most people what to do, you're going to get the thing that you're going to get what most people's lives are. And if you want, and
Yeah.
you probably don't. I mean, if you want an interesting life, you don't want what most people are doing.
Well, yeah, it's just like we're real estate. When I first started building real estate, most of my family are like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Like,
you're an idiot.
right? Like, I had read the books and I had done the research. None of them had, so they were just like, "What? What are you thinking right now?" And I'm like, "You just, I get it. I get you're looking at, but you just don't. You also just don't understand. Maybe you don't
Yeah,
have
they're
the knowledge.
idiots. Yeah.
Right.
So don't
Yeah.
and now look and now
Yes.
look at now let's and now like go compare balance sheets.
Oh yeah. Just astounding difference, right? Yeah.
So
100%.
take that. That's how I apply it to everything. They're like, Alex, why would you go travel the world with a camera? I'm like, well, it took me 1 year of traveling the world with a camera before I got to come out here and live for a year from Maui. So I wouldn't have that opportunity if I didn't do the thing that everyone's like, that's not going to make money. And I'm like, I know, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you just have to just kind of have to like, you just have to assume everybody is an idiot except you.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's not true, but it's about, certainly
Right.
about your life. Certainly about your life. And when it comes to investing, I mean, the financial data is outstandingly clear, right? Most people are broke. So
Oh yeah.
you take just your best bet if you want to make money is just go get consensus about about like how to spend money and then do the opposite.
Do the exact opposite. Yep.
Yeah. So it's not like completely unfounded. That's why I said it's like 80% theatrical and 20% deep factual.
Right. Yeah. Oh, makes sense. Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
We got like a minute here. Like anything I can do to help you? Part of the tribe.
Are you coming to Denver?
I am coming to Denver.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was really I mean, we got really, really sick, so I was really disappointed I missed Vegas. Um, so I'm like, real estate, I want to be involved in it, but I'm like, I got to go to this. Like, I'm going. Told my wife, I'm like, we just need to figure it out with the kids. Bring the mother-in-law down. We're making it happen. I'm going to this. I'll be there.
Love it.
Booked.
Good, good, good.
Rock.
Good, good, good. Um, no, dude, I mean, do you go to Tribe Talk? You gonna go to the next one?
I haven't in a few months. I did go to the Fridays from noon to 1 work the best for me. So
Okay.
I'll be going to the next ones in I think 2 weeks.
Something like that.
So
Yeah. Yep. Dude, that's all. I just want to make sure you have a good experience. Like, if you need to meet anybody, like, just, I don't know, reach out to me. Don't be shy. There's a lot of good people in the tribe. So just, I really want that thing to be a thriving community. So the more effort you can put in there, the more I would appreciate it.
absolutely, it makes sense. Cool,
That's it. I'm easy.
sweet, very much so, very
Yeah.
much. So. No, this is awesome. This is really cool.
Yeah. I've been
But
doing it for years. I want to do more of it. So actually, that'd help. Share the link. Let other people
I
know
do.
I'm available. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So
Yeah.
awesome.
All right,
All
my
right.
dude.
Thank
Here,
you.
I'm gonna stop this, but stay online for 1 second.
Okay.